Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's doing good. Happy Friday. I'm just getting everything set up here. One sec here. Doom, 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 doom. Daniel Berry, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Always forget what part of the country you're at. You may be over here on the West Coast with me, or I have no idea. Stephen, good morning. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Play a little Geo Champ. Give a couple people a chance to get in here. Zimbabwe. I always get this one wrong. I think it's Harare. I've had that one about 50 times and I still forget what it is. I think I finally got it now. Turkmenistan, the capital is either Ashgabat or Baku. I can never remember. Ashgabat. Burkina Faso. I always get this one wrong. I'm going to say Lome. No. Lome is Togo. I'll say Ugadu. Yes. Kyrgyzstan. It's either Bishkek. I think it's Bishkek. Yeah. Bangladesh is it's either Dhaka or Naypyidaw. Dhaka. Lesotho. That's in South Africa, and that is, I have no idea. Maseru. Benin, this country's next to Togo. This might be Port Novo. Yeah. North Macedonia, I always get this wrong. It's not Athens, it's not Belgrade. It's either Pagorkia or I'll say Skopje. Okay, we just had this one. Lesotho, it's Maseru. Eswatini, which I believe that is in South Africa as well. I'll say this one. South Sudan. This is Ethiopia. This is Kenya. So it's either Kampala or Juba. I have no idea. Juba. Yeah. Senegal, I think I know this one. Dakar. I'm pretty sure it's Dakar. Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya. It's got to be Kampala. Oman, I think I know this one. It's got to be, see, this is Kuwait, Saudi, UAE, and this has got to be Oman, Muscat. Uruguay, Brazil, Chile, don't know. It's either Montevideo, or Ascension. I'll say Ascension. No, Montevideo. Video. Togo is Lome. I know this one. Sierra Leone is Freetown. I know this one too. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sweet tea, good morning. How are you? Yes, geography with Osada. As soon as I get all the country or all the cities down, I'm gonna then I will have forgotten all the countries again. I'm gonna have to go back and do those again. And then after that, you can do flags, population, pictures. Man, there's so many different things on here you can do. We got nature. We already went through all this. Okay. Anyway, where am I at? Let me get a drink of my coffee. So last night I was watching Baron Coleman, who is just a guy. I don't know if you guys know who Baron Coleman is, but if you can see the screen, he is the guy. He's looking at a picture of the Charlie Kirk scene, but you can see him, his little box down there. I don't know if any of you guys follow him. He just kind of popped up on my radar recently. But he's pretty good at breaking this whole thing down. And he kind of caused another YouTuber to have a meltdown live on YouTube a couple days ago, the Valhalla VFT guy, the Green Beret. He's been actively involved in this whole thing. And it's kind of weird because I have heard him say something that gave me a red flag a couple times. I'm not going to say he's crying, but he keeps saying that he doesn't understand why Candace doesn't reach out to him. You're talking about the biggest podcaster in the world she's got her own sources and doing what she's doing. Like some guy is like going to bed at night wondering why Candace Owens isn't reaching out to him is a little weird. I don't know what you call that when, you think you're more important than you are, or you think that celebrities are gonna, need your info. I don't know. It's something weird about that. I always thought that when I heard him, because he said it twice. And I'm like, dude, why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so I watched him have a little meltdown a couple nights ago, and Baron, this guy was mentioned. So anyway, I was watching Baron last night, and he has a theory because of what I don't know how to say it, just by basically what he's looking at through these pictures here, that he thinks that, we already heard about the lapel mic. The lapel mic is the microphone that's attached to your shirt. And Charlie had two microphones. They explained this last night. There's the lapel mic is the one that is used to capture audio for the cameras. So you could do like YouTube videos and shorts and that kind of stuff, right? And then there's the microphone that he picks up, and that's the one that projects the sound out to the audience. And that's the microphone in question. And we've always been skeptical of why these guys were so sketchy about where the microphone. You can clearly see in the video that the microphone is very important, the big microphone, that one of his security guys actually moves the microphone or tells him to move the microphone to an exact spot. And so the evidence shows that he picks up the microphone and that somehow he's electrocuted. That's what a lot of us are going to go with now, and myself included. And I know it's going to sound like, no pun intended, a shocker to a lot of people that's what we're going with. I'm not saying everybody's going with that, but when you see, and I highly recommend, if you're interested in it, listen to the Baron Coleman podcast yesterday, because I'm not going to have time to break all this down. It's a 3-hour podcast. But there's a lot of evidence now that shows that he was electrocuted. And it started by a neurosurgeon contacted this guy, Baron Coleman, and said, hey, that isn't from a neck injury, the way that he tensed up. It's from either, I can't remember what he said the first scenario was, but he said it's either that or he was electrocuted. And then the neurosurgeon goes, it looks like an electrocution to me, is what he said. So when Baron first heard that, he's like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. But he just took an open mind to it and looked into it a little bit farther. And then he found some very interesting things that, if you know anything about being electrocuted or being struck by lightning, he has those signs. So Mustang Mike, Magooch, Don Miku, good morning, guys. Good to see you. So that's, and then we also had Tyler Robinson in court. And then Erika Kirk is on her media tour. And I think tomorrow she does the town hall meeting with Barry Weiss. And that was a pre-record. And Candace absolutely torched those guys yesterday on her live. And Candace goes, I have sources everywhere. Because she used to work at the Daily Wire, right? That was her last job. She just got fired last year. So somebody from the Daily Wire called and told her that they told her everything about the interview, that it was all pre-recorded, that they had to stop it because Barry Weiss needed to read from a teleprompter, and the audience members were handpicked. Just torched her. So it's a war brewing, and at this point, it's such a huge thing that, they're pulling out all the stops, that it's going to be just a division. And I don't think it's a deal breaker for a lot of people's relationships. Like I said yesterday, it's not politics. This isn't like talking at the dinner table about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, because that will literally get people not to talk to each other in their own family. I don't think it's on that level, because I think it's a little too complicated for that. But for me, and I keep saying this, there's a lot of people I'll never listen to ever again. PBD being one of them, Tim Pool. If I do listen to them, it's because they shove a clip down your throat on X or something. But I'll watch it always knowing that they're full of shit. And I'll never believe anything they ever say, ever again. Glenn Beck. I have a fucking list of people. What's her name? Fucking Laura Trump. I have a list. None of them are to be believed. None of them. They're all full of shit. They're all covering this whole fucking thing up, and it pisses me off. So, but we all have, to each their own. But I'm just gonna play a little bit of this, and he doesn't show any of the video. He doesn't, none of us want to hear the crack of the gunshot or none of that bullshit again. We're over it. But I am gonna play a little bit of this because it's very interesting. Now, how do I get to it? Here we go.
Someone just made a good point. Let's watch the 9:41 mark here. It's 9:35. It's rolling. It's rolling. It's rolling. It's rolling. What happens at the 9:41 mark? No, that's just him wiping his brow. He's not turning on his meta glasses. I don't think that was it. I think it was just him wiping his brow. But let's just say, if you wanted to explore the possibility that this microphone was important, and it was important that he was holding the microphone, you would have to signal the timing so that Charlie was holding the microphone, because he kept putting it down.
There you go.
Okay, so let's just allow this to sort of play out through some images. You guys know what happens. I'm not gonna delete that or take that off the thing, but I'll come back to it. But I want to now look at some images. To begin with, do you guys know where that microphone is today? Is anyone aware of where that microphone is? I'll show you. That microphone was most recently at Mar-a-Lago during the $10,000 a plate dinner. That's where the microphone was. Now, it's strange to me because there were a lot of things that you could put on display if you wanted to signify Charlie. There's a beautiful portrait, for example, right next to it.
It is very strange, and I'm going to keep playing it here. But also the book that they're selling now, it says "Stop in the Name of God," and it shows Charlie's hand up on the screen. Okay. Or up on the cover of the book, which is really weird. Yesterday, when we played the video of Erika Kirk mic'd up and recording her over his dead body and rubbing his hands, one thing that stuck out to everybody, too, that I didn't pick up on was the size of the hands. You know, there's pictures. She's like 5. She's really short. Charlie's really tall. He's like 6'6". His hands are twice her size. When she's rubbing those hands, her hands are bigger than those plastic hands she's rubbing. So, yeah, we don't know who wrote that book. You are right. And yeah, they raised $40 million at Mar-a-Lago. So they've raised, and then they've raised well over $100 million since Charlie's death. You know, I think it's like $150 million, and I think it's more than that. But, it's a state propaganda organization. So anyways, keep it rolling.
You could have his necklace that Erika Kirk held up. You could have one of the T-shirts, the Freedom T-shirts. Those have taken off. You could have one of those 47 hats. But the microphone's a weird touch, I'll be honest with you. It's a weird touch. So that's where the microphone is today. It's in a glass case. It travels around apparently, and recently it was on display at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know precisely where it's located today. So that's question 1. Where is the microphone? Now let's ask question 2. What did Charlie's hand look like holding the microphone mere seconds before the shot went off, or the loud noise went off, we'll call it now? What did his hand look like? That's a good image of his hand there. This is from a tweet I put up today. That is what his hand looked like. Notice the hand. Look at the hand. Examine the hand. Do you see anything remarkable about the hand? I don't. I don't see anything remarkable about the hand. So let's see what his hand looked like immediately following. This is a picture taken 20-something seconds. I think 22 or 3 I counted out. And I wasn't sure exactly when it was taken, so I gave like a 2-second window. This is his hand taken immediately after. What does that look like to you? That's not blood. That's not blood. And there's something else about this. You see these 2 dots up here? What are those? For those saying bruise, he just died, like instantly. You see how shiny that knuckle is right there? Have you ever burned your hand on the stove? Have you ever burned your hand on a pan when you reach in and grab something and you see a little shine on it, you start to rub some butter on it or you put some water over it? So that'll give you an idea of that. I'm going to show you a couple more pictures of the immediate aftermath. Let's see if I can get this one up. You guys may not have seen this one. That is Charlie's arm. That's his right hand hanging down after he was shot. Now there is blood in that on the thumb right there. No doubt about it. Or what appears to be blood on that thumb. But there you get those burn marks or whatever those are. Again, this was 20.
And it keeps, this is a 3-hour thing, and we have nurses and all kinds of people. The nurse from 20 years chimes in probably within the next 30 minutes of this and says that no, that's not blood, that she knows all about electrocutions and lightning strikes, and they break it down. You can't fool the medical field, right? And so, and there's also, if you go up by his armpit, there's a huge red mark up there. And so they break it down even more and more and more. And then it gets into, let me see if I can. Oh, this is very interesting too. So his wedding ring comes off. Hold on, it's got to.
Phone when he was dead. I asked the question. Charlie's dead right now. And we're told. You'll notice if you zoom in on this picture, you'll notice his ring has left his ring finger and is now falling off of his hand. And he is still gripping the microphone. He is falling over and he's got both hands clenched. I'll show you the other fist in just a second. Now, at first we were told this was a cerebral reflex due to a spinal cord injury. Well, lo and behold, wouldn't you know, I made a comment about that on air, and I got reached out to by a neurosurgeon. I verified that he was, in fact, a neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon said, no, that's not true. The neurosurgeon said that's not the reaction to a spinal cord injury. And then actually a nurse told me this today who I was talking to about these images. The nurse said the same thing. That's not a spinal cord injury that makes you do this. That's a brain injury, a deep brain injury, or an electrocution. The neurosurgeon's the one that put me on electrocution. Because I said, why is he still holding onto the microphone? And somebody said, oh, he was a spinal cord injury. Neurosurgeon writes in and says, that ain't a neurosurgery. That's not a neuro injury. That's a deep brain injury or an electrocution. Are we sure he wasn't electrocuted? It looks more like an electrocution to me. And I thought, what? What are you talking about? So I start digging. And I really start digging. And I'll show you one more showing the clenched fists. One more showing the clenched fist. I'm not blaming anybody. Stop it. Stop it in the comments. There are your clenched fists.
No,
and again,
no,
this is an earlier image than the one I just showed you because he's coming up, and then you'll see in a second, I'll show another image where he drops it, and you'll see what his hand looks like when he drops it. It's pretty crazy. Keep in mind, there's no blood on his hand. He hadn't hit the ground yet. So don't tell me it's a bruise. Don't tell me it's dirt unless he just was like farming with bare hands right before he went on the air, or right before he started the event. So he's clenching this. I must say, I'm impressed I'm able to do this without showing the video. All right, let me find the one where he drops it. You guys take a look at this hand and tell me what you think. This was the clincher for me. An astute viewer of this program sent this image in, and I clipped it out. Look at that hand. I will, if you need me to, pull the hand back up. No blood has left his neck by this point. There's one drop that has gotten near his hand. One drop has gotten near his hand. That hand is fried. You can watch the video, slow it down yourself if you don't believe me. I did not alter this photo. Electrician.
I just fast forwarded again. I got one more little part, and that's it.
But these are the two dots he's talking about. But look at that thumb. That thumb is shot. It's burned. That thumb is burned. The back of the hand is shiny and burned. There's no other way to look at it. I would show you his other arms. I encourage you to get on charlesmcclintockwilson.com and look at the aftermath photos yourself, and you'll see them. I don't want to show the blood on his body. I think it's disrespectful to the family. I really do. And I was guilty. I showed him, on Twitter and whatnot.
All right. So, yeah, no, I don't think, so if we're going to go with this scenario, sweet tea, it's hard to say, I mean, it's a lot going on here. I mean, and I've always said this, that I think that the videos have been altered. And I told the story about when I first heard about Charlie getting shot. My buddy texted me. He sent me a link. I watched it. I see Charlie jerk up and I see a hole go in the white t-shirt and I see black underneath. That's all I see. I hear the shot, boom. Okay. Then he sends me another video and it's like a train hits you because you're expecting just to basically see the same thing. And now all of a sudden there's blood just squirting out of his neck like fucking 10 feet. And you're like, what in the fuck? That's why we all got PTSD. But the first video that I watched, there was no blood coming out of his neck at all. That's why I was confused. And then I go back and try to watch the video that my buddy first sent me, and it's not the same video. I swear it's not the same video because I don't see the black hole open up in the white t-shirt. Other people have said the same thing. So they had to have, if that's true, then everybody in the crowd was, part of that whole charade, right? Because somebody would have said something about there was not really blood gushing out of his neck. So that means that the whole thing is kabuki theater. Every last one of those people there, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't. Wedding ring gold is a good conductor. Yeah. Yeah, no, they've never said anything about him being electrocuted. This is brand new, but it makes a lot, I'm no expert at anything, but this makes a lot of sense to me because nothing has made any sense yet. This is the first thing that I'm like, oh, wow. Not to mention, okay, so let's go with that. Hold on. Are we? And now remember, he's 6'6" and she's like 5'6". There's pictures of their hands together. His hands are huge. This is, and remember, somebody's filming this and she's mic'd up. Why would you mic yourself up? And I swear, if you listen to this enough, I'm only going to play it once. But if you watch this video of her doing this, I swear you hear some weird shit in the background. It's just not her talking. Somebody like answers her, "I love you, baby," and then you hear somebody else. It's fucking weird, man.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. God bless you.
I don't know, guys. So is the neck the entry point or the exit point of electrocution? Well, so now there's also some doctor or somebody chimed in and said that if you're electrocuted, there's something called, let me see here. First of all, if you guys know who Keith Relf is of the Yardbirds, he was a guitarist, died in 1976 by accidental electrocution from an improperly grounded guitar mic set up at home. Several lesser-known bar musicians died on stage from hot mics. So it is absolutely possible to be electrocuted from a microphone. Why was I on here? There was another reason. I don't remember. Everyone that was supposedly has a gag order. Yeah. Yep. They put a gag order on everybody. Yeah. It's crazy, guys. You know, it's just something to think about. Something to think about. Let me get back to where I was at. But we got a war brewing between Erika Kirk and Candace Owens, but it's more than that. This is a war between, if they wanted a civil war, and just in my opinion, this is going to be it, because this involves neurosurgeons and attorneys and bankers and everybody. It involves everybody. Everybody is invested in this. And, you know, it's going to come to a boiling point. And I think we got Tyler Robinson in court now, and the gag order. There's just a lot going on. So let's see here, but I'll bounce around. I've got more than just that. Let's see, are we watching? No. So before we go any further, you know, like, so it is crazy to think that, okay, wait a minute, we didn't hear anything about electrocution, right? We heard nothing about electrocution, and now all of a sudden this is what we're going to go with. I mean, what is this, crazy town? You know what I mean? But then you have to take into consideration who we're dealing with, you know, like Kash Patel here of the FBI. You know what I mean? These are the people in charge of this investigation. This is why, you know, we need all the internet sleuths. We need the entire world investigating this, because we know these guys are just stone cold liars. I would like to know who videoed her at the cat, right? Yeah, exactly. That's a good question, right? And who decided to mic her up? You know, that's such a personal thing, you know. Even Tommy brought it up on his show. It bothers everybody, you know. It's just not something you do. He is the biggest knob out there. Yes, he is. And so this is a video of him. They're talking about the note. And I don't know if you guys remember the note that Tyler allegedly wrote about the manifesto. It looked like it was ChatGPT, and what they figured out, like Candace, you know, the theory that we're all going with is that when they plotted this, that they had ChatGPT write this note. And they said, make it from somebody in their 20s, you know, like they wanted it to be from a young person. But ChatGPT understood it as write it from somebody from the 1920s. Because when you read that note, it fucking sounds weird as fuck. Nobody's going to write that note, especially that weird looking motherfucker, Tyler Robinson. It makes no sense. Look at that weirdo and then look at the note that he allegedly wrote. That don't make no fucking sense. This definitely don't make no fucking sense.
Written note, did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say, if you could?
So what I'm able to say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location, in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
Was it written note? Did he write a written?
Did you guys catch all that? So the note's destroyed. They have forensic evidence that proves that the note did exist and what was on the note. And the reason that they know what was on the note is because of their aggressive interview posture at the FBI. This is the people that we're dealing with. So you can go with the official narrative if you want to. That's up to you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna, belittle people if that's their choice, but it just comes down to this, which is why I checked out a long time ago from watching TV and all that. You're just going to be spoon-fed garbage. And it doesn't matter if it's Kash Patel blatantly lying like this, or they do it in such a way that you don't pick up on it. But they're going to lie to you. This is what they do. They never tell the truth. They're not supposed to tell the truth. The plan is to suppress, oppress, control, and rob and kill and rape. That's what these people do. They're not our friends. You know what I mean? This is just blatant fucking lies this guy is telling. And the reason why they destroyed the note, because can anybody even wrap their head around how the note got destroyed? Who are we saying destroyed the note? We don't even address that. He'll say, well, I addressed this partially earlier. No, you didn't, because they wouldn't be asking the question if you did. But the reason why the note is now allegedly destroyed is because it looks like it's from the 1920s. And that's why he's saying, I'm going to paraphrase here and saying, I want to kill Charlie Kirk. Completely leaving out the fact that note looked like it was written from the 1920s. And there's entire podcasts and YouTube videos done on the note. If you need more info on it, it's out there. What I'm able to say from a high level government person is right. Exactly. Sweet tea. What I'm able to say, well, what it is, you'll notice that somebody will say a phrase that kind of goes viral. And then all of these people want to say it. It could be from a government official. Like I heard Marco Rubio say that's more of a law enforcement issue. I'm not exactly sure what they were talking about, but it was at one of those cabinet meetings. And that statement kind of went viral because I heard him say it. It was a clip. Then all of a sudden I hear you have that dude, Cam Higsby or whatever his name is, interviewing some little teenager at the Pentagon press secretary. And he goes, now don't laugh. Does the CIA know about a plot from the French government to assassinate Candace Owens? And she's like, I don't think so. I could ask, but that's more of a law enforcement issue. So that's just how these people are, they don't care about, they're not here. They exist only for clicks and views. That's how you become the FBI director. That's how you become the attorney general. That's how you become the secretary of state. You have to be good on camera for clicks and views. It has nothing to do with, you know what I mean? You just have to be able to sell the narrative. But yeah, so if the note was destroyed, how did it exist at the scene? Good question. So again, when you hear these things like, okay, the electrocution thing sounds crazy. Yes, it does. Obviously, it does sound crazy. But what's more crazy? Kash Patel talking or the electrocution theory? I mean, let's move on. So I brought this up a couple days ago. Alex Jones has been ranting and raving about this for the last few days, that Trump is getting ready to sign an executive order to centralize AI. And, Alex keeps saying that we don't want a centralized AI. We want a decentralized AI, and we want it open source so everybody can contribute to it. But these guys, and when you get Ted Cruz in the room and how giddy these guys are, we're fucked. This is almost like a new COVID coming. Just listen to this bullshit. Everything that they're saying in here is a lie. These are all Kash Patels, every last one of them. And you know who the village idiot is in the room? It's the guy sitting at the table with the pen in his hand.
Good picture. Pulitzer Prize. This is going to be a Pulitzer Prize picture. Let's give him the Pulitzer Prize. He said that. Do you like this guy?
Oh, yeah,
I do. Everybody likes Albert, right?
Yeah.
No auto pen necessary. That's a whole big deal, isn't it? Well, what's that all about? Okay. Who am I giving this pen to, David? Who am I giving it to?
How about Cyril?
You're right.
Thank you,
What a
sir.
job he's done. That's a good choice. Thank
That was
you very
nice.
much. I almost gave it to Howard. Thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Let's go.
Thank you, Peter. Good picture.
So that wasn't the. Let me see if here we go. This is the video that I wanted to play. Sorry.
Today, America's economy is more than 50% larger than Europe's, and the two drivers of that are tech and the shale revolution. It transformed this country, and AI is the same thing. It's a race, and if China wins the race, whoever wins, the values of that country will affect all of AI. We don't want China's values of surveillance and centralized control by the communist government governing AI. We want American values of free speech, of individual liberty, of respecting the.
And by the way, when Ted Cruz is saying this, the pro-Israel fucking Jewish sellout, anti-American cuck who never even brings up Texas, even though that's his state, you don't want China's AI value, but this 7-foot-tall Indian monster-looking motherfucker is the one that got the pen that signed the centralized AI. Okay.
The individual. So this executive order, I believe, is tremendously important. Thank you for your leadership. Today, America's economy is more than 50% larger than Europe's.
Again, if you have these snakes, these fucking reptiles in this room, and they're this giddy, you know that we're being fucked. And that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, I mean, if anybody can explain to me why AI is so important, you know, remember how the moon race was so important? And then as, you know, Elon just had an interview recently where he says that, you know, we went to the moon like, you know, multiple times and that we actually got bored and that we played golf on the moon. That was the jump the shark moment. I don't know if I believe that or not, but if we go with that, you know, and then we didn't go back to the moon. Why is AI so important? So they can control us. This is what they want. Centralized AI. This is going to be, you know, if you look at, they say that, you know, and they'll lie straight to your face. They say they don't want Chinese values. Well, it's the same thing. This is a global hostile takeover by these Jewish billionaires and whoever the fuck else is involved in it. And that's exactly what they're going to do. There's no other purpose for AI other than to control the population. It's not going to fucking help us. We don't need fucking AI to fucking help solve anything. I'm sorry, but China owes us all. They do, you know. And I think that, well, you know, a lot of it is just a, you know, yeah, China definitely is, you know, China's a problem for sure. But I think one of the bigger problems is just the dirty politicians that we all have in all our countries, you know, that sold us out. That, you know, put it this way, just white people that you know, they look white, but they work for China. They work for Israel. You know, it's a something they don't talk about. You know what I mean? Like these people look white. So you think that they're for America, but they're not. They're as anti-American as you can get. They're as it's not even that. They're anti-us. It's not just America. They're anti-us. You know, they're pro-elite and anti-us. I don't know how else to put it. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think we can all agree that you have these snakes, and if anybody has, you know, a reasonable explanation of what this is, I would love to hear it. And I'm not here to criticize. I just don't know. I don't know what the importance is of a centralized AI, and I don't even know why it's so important to have AI. Does this have to do with all those towers that they're putting up? And then if so, why? I looked it up, and the other day about those towers, and they say it's just because, it requires everything. All our devices require so much more power and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I'll move on. Let me go back to where I was at. Here is Mike Huckabee, and this is just a random video. I'm not exactly sure who Mike Huckabee is. He is a senator, I believe, probably over like in one of the southeastern states. Not exactly sure. Very pro-Israel. There was a video of him recently saying that Christians have a moral obligation to the Jews, that we owe them our lives, basically. And this one is, let's just listen to him talk here. And, when these guys are talking for Israel, they always have to look down at paper. It's like they make sure that they say exactly what they were told to say. They can never just talk to you, like a normal person in the camera. They're always looking down at their papers.
This is another question: that is Israel blackmailing the U.S. government with the Jeffrey Epstein files?
Okay. So I can see him looking down at the paper to read the question, but now just talk to us. Okay. Answer the question. You don't need to look down at the paper anymore, my guy.
Again, what a ridiculous kind of unfounded, unverified allegation. It emanates from someone's imagination. Nobody's provided one shred of evidence to indicate that there's any truth to it. Reckless allegations, whether it's against an individual or a country, are just that. They're reckless and they're harmful. Just like no one would want to have people say crazy things about them individually or their families, people ought to push back when anyone, whether it's a podcast host or just somebody making a speech, gets up and says something as unfounded as that somehow Israel was behind Jeffrey Epstein. This is
These people are in our government. It's just absolutely maddening. Osada, we don't need AI. Also, Osada 17 times per show. Let me ask ChatGPT. Yeah, 100%. I got it loaded up right here. But that's the thing, right? We already, this is the thing, right, sweetie? So we have, if we want to say ChatGPT is AI, then great. And it's great for what it is, but it's already doing what it's supposed to do, right? It's basically a self-learning program. Okay. But now they're talking about these data centers. And I know you're joking, and it is funny because I do ask it 100 times a day. But now they want to build these huge data centers with all this power. We need to triple the power output that we have in the United States, globally, basically. AI videos drive me crazy when I see someone died and it's all fake. Yeah, 100%. And why centralize it? 100%. And what are we centralizing? See, that's just what do they call that? Like an oxymoron, or it's a lie. It's straight up. They're lying to you like immediately. Like, this is how they get us, They get you. They want you to accept the fact that Charlie was shot right away. Then they can. It doesn't matter after that point. They don't care what rabbit hole you go down. As long as you accept the fact that he was shot, they win. If he was electrocuted. Same thing with this. They want you to accept the fact that, or they're telling us that they don't want, that if China wins, that the AI will have their values of no free speech and all this. At the same time that they're centralizing it so they can have control of the speech and all that. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So this is Barry Weiss. This is one of the most powerful people now in all of media. Believe it or not, this woman is. She runs CBS. She runs a lot of things now. And she was the one that interviewed Erika Kirk.
I just sat down for an hour with Erika Kirk and we talked about everything. We talked about what was going through her head when she stood on that stage and forgave her husband's alleged murderer. We talked about all of the conspiracies surrounding his assassination. And of course, we talked about grief, political violence, and so much more. Watch this Saturday night on CBS at 8 p.m. I just sat down.
Yes, we are all going to take time out of our day to listen to Erika Kirk and Barry Weiss. I'm sure we're all waiting to fucking hear what they have to say. Oh yeah, and then Erika Kirk, she said that she has Charlie's cell phone. Why does she have the cell phone? You know, why is she the one now that all of a sudden is, you know, the spokesperson for everything? You know, isn't the spouse like going to be one of the number one suspects? They never considered that the fact that she would pay to have him killed, so she could take all the money and become the CEO of the company, which she is now already. I mean, come on. Why does she have the cell phone? It should be in the hands of the court. So Sharon Moore of Michigan, who has a wife and 3 kids, his dream job, and publicly claims faith in Jesus. Apparently got caught up in some relationship with some staff member, and then there was like abuse allegations or something. And Shannon Sharp's chiming in on it.
Until you in Ocho, you and I have had a conversation. So
Yes, sir.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
To be in that storm.
Yeah, we know you were in the storm. It says 54-year-old Shannon Sharp was dating a 19-year-old OnlyFans girl. So I don't know anything about this thing. The only reason why I bookmarked it is because Sharon Moore and 54-year-old Shannon Sharp. I mean, one of the reasons why these people behave like this is because you have 80-year-old Bill Belichick dating a 24-year-old, which is just straight up pedophilia where I come from. You know, they just openly are just fucking, promoting pedophilia right in your face. Bill Belichick is literally older than Jordan's grandparents. If that doesn't, I mean, that's just absolutely, that stuff's just disgusting, man. Anyway, we all know they got problems in the NFL and the professional sports, that kind of stuff. Nothing new. If the love of my life was murdered, I would not be able to do interviews even months later. Yeah, 100%, sweet tea. You know, and she's getting mad at the wrong people. You know what I mean? She forgives Tyler Robinson, and she's pissed off at Candace Owens, who's trying to figure out like what really happened. Nope, let's just go with what Bug-Eyed Cash Patel says and forgive Tyler Robinson, 3 days after he kills my husband. And then we're going to get pissed off at anybody that tries to like dig into what really happened. It's absolute madness. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, so, it's just, you got to lead by example. Sports are broken completely. Gambling and social media, they should make it to where, I don't know what the answer is, that you can't monetize a video from the stands of a professional sports game. I mean, I think that's what should be a rule. It should come down to that. You want to record all you want. You can't monetize anything from the stands of the NFL or the NBA. because people will just continue to fight and throw beer on each other and act like complete animals. I personally don't care because I never go to games, but I just don't think that, I'm sick of watching it. The judge just kicked Tyler Robinson's family out of the courtroom. His attorney asked to let his parents and brother stay for the closed session. The state objected, saying they'll be discussing court security measures. The judge denied it.
Mr. Robinson has some immediate family members who are present, his father, his mother, and his brother, and we would ask the court to permit them to remain in the courtroom during the closed portion of the hearing.
To the state.
My only concern with that, Your Honor, is that we're going to be talking about court security measures. And I don't know that we'll have to go into a lot of detail about that, but I do have concerns about those issues being discussed in public.
All right. Mr. Novak, do you have authority that supports allowing them to remain in a closed hearing?
No, I think it's subject to the court's discretion to decide who is and is not an appropriate member of the public. I think they have a unique relationship with Mr. Robinson, and they would certainly abide by any orders the court makes concerning disclosure of what is discussed in closed session. But obviously, it's up to the court.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. I'm going to rule that they will be excluded as well. It is just given the nature and the sensitivity of it. I believe it is appropriate to treat all parties in the public equally, though I do recognize their relationship with Mr. Robinson. Thank you for your request.
Thank you for your request. Who the fuck is this guy, man? This is the judge, right? And they just brought this guy in. Ex-military. Everybody in this whole fucking case is in the military, including Erika Kirk's parents. Both of them. Mother, Department of Defense. Father wrote the book about how to integrate your corporation, how to integrate the military into your corporation. This whole thing is kabuki theater. Did they even show Tyler Robinson's parents? And then did you see what Tyler Robinson looked like? He's sitting there smirking the whole time. This is him right here. There's other videos of him. I don't know if I bookmark one. I will see here if anybody didn't see him.
Just a database of the people's stuff, right? It's not an interview or to get it right. If you want, I'll identify what I'm sent to you. You can look at it and say, okay, do we care? Okay.
To exclude the parents. Yeah, I can't even wrap my head around it, sweet tea. So I don't even have an opinion on that part. He's not a minor. Yeah, I don't know how old he is, actually. I think he is in his 20s, right? I don't know. Just very strange. Very strange. How do I get out of this? Here we go. All right, let's listen to Erika Kirk talk. She was on Glenn Beck's. You know, she's going on everybody, right? She's been on CBS and probably Good Morning America and probably Phil Donahue and Sally Jesse Raphael and Geraldo Rivera. She's probably been on Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones. I mean, she's probably been a Jerry Springer. She's probably gone on all of them. I mean, come on. Probably been Robert Downey Jr., Montel Williams, Maury Povich.
Do you think Charlie knew to some degree and had made the conscious choice that I may be taken out early? Not saying he knew that.
You know, she's starting to look rough, man. You know, she's starting to look rough. This is just an observation. And, you know, you would think that you would look rough right after your husband got killed. You know what I mean? You're a widow and now you have kids to raise without him and how, you know what I mean? And you think you would look rough like right afterwards. Nope. Not a tear, beautiful clothes, hair, Tammy Fake Baker is what I call her. You know, she's got the evangelical hair and just not a crease on the clothes, just perfection. Going up on stage with fireworks and, you know, raising hundreds of millions of dollars. Now look at her. Now when the pressure starts to hit you is when, you know, because the internet always wins and you cannot fool the public forever. When the pressure hits, because see, like, you know, you get Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Trump and Mike Johnson, all those guys in a room, man, those guys are polished silver. Those guys are granite. Those guys are make it look easy. Try to be them. You can't. None of us can. It's not that easy. It takes a cold-blooded motherfucker to be one of them guys. And so even this fucking bitch can't handle the pressure. She started looking rough, man. I don't know. I'm just saying you would think that you would be rough, start looking rough after your spouse was just murdered. Because I remember when my mom died from a brain aneurysm 2017. You should have seen what I looked like. I remember one day that the neighbors were probably, you know, going to come over, and I think they did because they could hear me crying. Like I was like sobbing, like so loud that the neighbors could hear me. That's my mom. Imagine your husband in the prime of your life and you guys got young kids. Come on, man. Who do you think you're fooling? There it is, the deadpan sarcasm of Osada naming all the talk show hosts from the last 50 years. Yep, you already know. The ones we all watched. That was back before social media, right? You knew what was coming on. And if we stayed home from school, it was The Price is Right. Got to watch a little, Ricky Lake or Geraldo. For me, it was like my primetime talk show days. It was before Jerry Springer, although I did watch Jerry Springer. But like my stay home from school sick days, it was Geraldo, Sally Jesse Raphael, Phil Donahue. Oprah came on at like 3 or 4 o'clock. We all watched her. Back when we thought Oprah was a good person, you know. We should have known when the Texas Beef Company sued her and the one license plate or the bumper sticker said the only mad cow, because she talked about mad cow disease on her show. The only mad cow in Texas is Oprah. I was like, man, that's so rude when I heard that. Shit. I'll print those bumper stickers now. Who is taking care of her kids while she's on this media tour? Oh, her family. It's her Turning Point family, Sweet Tea. And don't us dare talk about her Turning Point family. When you go after my Turning Point family, the people that were complicit, if not in on my husband's murder, then I will be so mad at you. Don't you dare try to figure out who really killed my husband. And Glenn Beck.
That day, but that he had any inkling that this might come his way and that he intentionally chose to move forward with faith in God?
It's interesting because I have unbelievable amounts of death threats. My kids have kidnapping threats, death threats. Our whole team has death threats. We knew that there was always going to be a threat, but Charlie and I we promised each other we would never live in fear. And he would say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone. Didn't say that. And so what I do know is that
So did you catch that? She has the cell phone. Tyler Robinson's in court right now, and she's the one telling us that she can tell you for a fact that he did not message anybody. And because according to Candace, there's 3 people that Charlie Kirk messaged on September 9th saying they're going to kill me tomorrow. And then they killed him tomorrow. And his wife is saying, that's not true. I have his cell phone. What?
we believed in the power of prayer. And what I do know is that we believe in our sovereign God. And what I do know is that that night before, we did what we usually did before tours. We said our prayer and we asked the Lord to protect us. And we asked the Lord that his will be done. That's what we did.
Does anybody else notice how her eyes
believed in the power?
When she talks here, you'll notice 3 times her eyes get that devil look on them. And I'll try to pause it right when it happens.
Or a prayer. And what I do know is that we believe in our sovereign God. And what I do know is that that night before, we did what we usually did before tours. We said our prayer.
There it goes. There's one.
And we asked the Lord to protect us.
There's 2.
And we asked the Lord that his will be done.
There's 3. It changes. Her eyes change, man. I swear.
That's what we did.
She is one creepy fucking bitch, boy. Ooh, she gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies, man. Stone cold murderers, these people are. Yep. Yeah, those were the best ones back then, man. Because we didn't really have a choice but to watch them, you know. A lot of propaganda on those, but you didn't have no choice but just to eat it, you know. They would bring on some straight fucking some of the people that they would bring on those shows, like Jesus, you know. But she's definitely reading from notes, and she's saying she has the cell phone. So you have to either go with the fact that Candace is lying or she's lying. Candace is saying she can prove that there were text messages sent. I don't know if she's saying she can prove it or not, but she's saying that there was text messages sent from Charlie. Why would she lie about that? And then ask yourself, why would Erika lie about that?
Sure, they screen these questions. Like she's going, I said, look, like, of course, they're going to want to make sure they screen these questions. Like she's going.
She's talking about her source that told her about Barry Weiss and Erika Kirk's interview, because they already recorded it, and then it's going to play tomorrow.
Through a lot. Like she's transitioning, she's doing this. She's like, I was like, I wouldn't want to be in her position. We're 3 months in now. Okay. We are still getting rehearsed answers. And I feel like what is missing from all of this is, I don't know, like passion, normal passion, not this like chat GBT feeling of, well, we all need to unite around the mission. It's like, no, I don't really care about cash. I would just be like, what is the borough doing? What has anybody traced this down? Okay. I don't know if Candace is crazy, but she says the French Foreign Legion was there. Has anybody chased this down? I texted her. I got this information. Okay, it's wrong. That's a dead end. Let me move over here. I've got files. I'm going to run this investigation alongside you, Cash. And I don't know what he's doing. I want like one critique of the FBI, one critique of anything which the public is saying is worthy of critique. Like, it's almost like you're dressing down public perception. Like, people think that you can have enough money to just cut over people's gut instincts. That's what it is. It feels like we're so rich, you don't have the right to think. Okay? We are rich enough to remove that. So stop thinking. The elites are here. It feels elite. That's why I hate this. It feels elite. It feels like the opposite of whatever Turning Point felt like when they were the underdogs, right? This entire presentation is elite. I'm on CBS stage with pre-prep questions and Barry Weiss, and I obviously have rehearsed this answer because I got these questions ahead of time. I obviously know I'm going to get asked this, so I'm going to do I don't even and this is a fact. You can ask anybody who's ever interviewed me. I never ask for questions ahead of time. I don't want to know. I don't want to know the direction it's going into. I never give them anything. I never say we can't talk about this. That thing's off record, because even getting questions ahead to me, preparing answers feels fake and gay, right? That just feels rehearsed, because it is. It has to be rehearsed. You got the questions ahead of time. And at this stage, I don't like it. I don't like it. I want something that feels anywhere where it feels authentic. Like one question mark that you have, you're like, oh, I'd like you to be like, I don't know about those text messages. I think Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger, but the text messages are weird. It's just, I trust my team.
Yeah, no, and it's a very good point that she's making, because Erika Kirk has the energy to go on these media tours. Good morning, CG2. To go on these media tours and do the book tour and all this kind of stuff. But her whole attitude is she trusts her team. They have a great team, and tell Candace, and then she's just attacking Candace. And you don't want people investigating the murder of your husband? You just trust this bullshit narrative? It's absolutely ridiculous. Easy Fix show 3 messages that were sent from Charlie's phone. Well, of course, the messages can be deleted, and then the people that he sent the messages to was the security guy. I think somebody from Turning Point USA, and I'm not sure who the other one is. So I don't know exactly the whole facts behind that. Obviously, those 2 guys would delete the message. The third person, hopefully, that message is there. I don't know. But she makes a good point, Even if Candace is crazy, like if it was your spouse that was killed, wouldn't you want them to investigate? Like, oh yeah, I mean, that crazy lady over there is saying some shit. I don't know if we should believe her or not, but can we at least investigate what she's talking about? Is the French people involved? I mean, is there any validity to, you're going to want to do it. You know what I mean? Of course you're going to want to. It's all bullshit.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that He's sovereign, but He's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that.
So, I mean, there goes the eyes again. It is, I don't know, maybe she's got like Neuralink embedded in her, some type of like military technology in her brain. There's something there, right? Yeah, she is a great speaker. She's very educated. You would turn over every stone to find out how and why. Exactly, CG2. Very weird. Nothing, and again, like this lady, like there's what is she even saying? I mean, come on. We're all religious. When your husband's murdered, it's not up to God. I'm sorry. We're taking God out of the equation. A human being murdered your husband. Humans are involved in this. We don't need God right now. You can pray at night, and that's fine. Don't go in the middle of the day saying that God is just and that's what we're going to go with. You know, it's bullshit.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
I mean, that question is just, what does that question even mean?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
Is there a difference?
Yeah. Unbelievable, man. Let's listen to this guy real quick. It's a 14-minute video. We're not going to play 14 minutes. We'll just play 2 minutes. This guy just got on my radar. He's pretty funny. He kind of reminded, he's got even a better sense of humor than I do, but because he knows how to do it without getting too pissed off. I haven't learned that part yet, but
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Yes, we are going to continue talking about Candace Owens, Erika Kirk, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's murder. Why? Because the truth matters. And the woman who says she has no time to come off the wall regarding her responsibilities with TPUSA and her family sure is making a lot of time to go.
I love what he just said there. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. He said if she doesn't have time to come off the wall. Well, what she said was, it reminds me of the book of whoever it was, Jeremiah or whatever she said. She goes, when the townspeople kept, bugging her basically to come down. And she says, I'm too busy building, that whole little fucking weird speech she gave. Well, he turns it around into the coming off the wall she's too busy to pray into the Wailing Wall in Israel, because that's who these people are. These are the Jewish Zionists. That's, if this was Scooby-Doo, Fred could pull off her mask and it would be Benjamin Netanyahu underneath there. You meddling kids, I would have got away with this if it wasn't for you.
Around the prostitute, fake stream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra media circuit to tell her story and express her outrage. But I don't want you to think this is all that's going on the geopolitical and domestic landscape, because, the U.S. military industrial complex is busy acting as literal ocean pirates, seizing oil vessels in international waters. And speaking of TPUSA, or as I like to call the Palantir USA, well, it turns out J.D. Vance's, Peter Thiel's, Charlie Kirk's, and TPUSA's Palantir Technologies ain't doing too shabby since they just won a U.S. Navy contract for their nuclear submarine fleet. It says on Wednesday, Palantir, the maker of data analytics software, has won a $448 million contract with the U.S. Navy. And what are they going to do? Manage the supply chain of its nuclear submarine fleet. That's all it is. Nothing at all to be concerned about. Because Palantir shareholders are making boatloads of money, and what could be better than that? And people like this guy, who isn't even sure he wants humanity to endure, is going to be in control of nuclear submarines. What could possibly go wrong?
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would
this is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions.
So while Palantir is stacking up the military contracts and their shareholders are raking in the cash, let's listen to what TPUSA CEO Erika Kirk has to say on CBS with Barry Weiss.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online, This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that?
I'm going to play the rest of this, but does something seem off to you? It seems off to me, but who am I? It just seems like there's not a whole lot of genuineness going on here.
He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you.
Blah, 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 blah. Does anybody remember anybody fucking ever saying that? They showed us videos of that in the very beginning when Charlie was shot or electrocuted, where people were like going stomping on his grave on the little memorials that they put out and stuff like that, kicking the balloons and stuff. Probably government plants. I haven't heard anybody say that. I haven't seen one tweet, and I'm on X every day. I have not seen not one tweet from anybody on X anywhere saying, "Oh, I'm so glad he got shot." Now there was the little TikTok videos of people saying, "Oh, I'm so," in the very beginning or whatever. Why is this such a huge issue? There's so many more important things that they could be talking about, like who actually killed him,
I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us.
Now, part of what she says is true. And I agree with the fact that if you looked at the Charlie Kirk murder, or what appears to be the Charlie Kirk murder, and you're just laughing, or you get some kind of enjoyment out of seeing some dude that you don't even know die, you are sick. But on another level, isn't it also really sick that people like this are making boatloads of cash off of the death of a guy that some people are laughing about? I'm not a body language expert, but something doesn't feel right about this.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to move on, but that guy's got some really good takes on some stuff. What else do we have here? More Erika Kirk. Hold on.
But he was not messaging people the day before saying, "I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me." He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone. But he was not messaging people.
I love that look she gives at the end there. And why is Glenn Beck covering up his mouth? These guys are just absolute. I mean, they're just not real people. They are just not real people. Here's Tyler Robinson smirking in court. So that's the guy right there. That's the guy that all of this whole thing is about. That's the guy. That don't even look like the guy in some of the pictures in the video that they show us, but And this is a guy that could possibly get the death penalty. Is he just like so weird that he just doesn't even know what's going on? He doesn't look like he's too worried about anything to me. I don't know. It's all very strange. You know, at this point with AI and stuff like that, speaking of AI, I mean, do we even know that this? I mean, if the government is lying to us, this whole thing could be AI. This may not even be a fucking real room. Who knows? It's so out of control now, it's hard to say. But what a weirdo. So this is a nice exchange between, where is it? Remember we watched the Indian guy yesterday? Well, he wants Kristi Noem to resign.
Secretary Noem, it is a fact that you ignored federal court orders in March and in May of this year. Do you plan on ignoring more federal orders?
We always
I'm
comply with all federal
sick
court
of your lies, and the American people demand the truth.
Because you keep saying it doesn't make it true.
I am sick of your lies. The American people are sick of these lies. American people demand truth.
America is very happy that finally they have a president in the White House that gets up every day to keep them safe.
Madam Secretary, your incompetence and your inability to truthfully carry out your duties of Secretary of Homeland Security. If you're not fired, will you resign?
Sir, I will consider your asking me to resign as an endorsement of my work. Thank you very much.
Secretary Noem, it is a fact that
So a nice little heated debate there between Department of Homeland Security and a Punjabi that infiltrated our government that can't even fucking barely speak English. They're saying that she's incompetent and trying to speak for the American people. And, you know, I just got to make it crystal clear that I don't think that that guy has any right to speak for the American people because he's not American. He can't even speak English properly. So how the fuck do you know what the American people think when you don't even know how to fucking speak English? That don't even make no sense, buddy. Okay, you don't know how to pronounce the letter P. Okay, so just absolutely maddening. I don't understand it. But that's all the videos that I have, guys. So, you know, it's a lot of speculation. It's a lot of like, I think a lot of people probably can't even really wrap their head around, and I get it. Truth is always stranger than fiction. That's just what it is, you know. And it's just going to keep getting weirder. So stay tuned, but we will play again. You know, if anything, don't believe anything that the internet says. You'll feel a lot better if you just believe the official narrative and the government. The government can be trusted.
Written note, did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say? If you could.
So what I'm able to say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
So the written note, was it?
Yeah, because of the aggressive interview posture at the FBI. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. Well, you can, because they are. Well, that's all the videos for today, guys. I'm going to end the show now because I have a busy day, actually a busy weekend ahead of me. I've got 2 events today. well, I have the admin building, which I normally do every Friday morning. And then there's a Santa parade from 4 to 7 this evening that I'll be doing at a different location. And then tomorrow I will be at a brew house all day. And then Sunday I will be at the Rockridge Country Market for an event. So 4 events in 3 days. I got a ton of stuff made. And now I have to wait for, it's 3:30 now. I'm probably going to go back to bed, get up at 6 and go buy strawberries. So thank you guys for hanging out. CG2, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. Stephen Morinello, Sweet Tea, Don, Magooch, Daniel Berry. Oh, Tommy was here. I didn't even know Tommy was in here. Tommy, good morning. Good to see you. Did not see you jump in. Did not mean to put you on the pay no mind list. Busy weekend. Yeah, super busy weekend. Well, it's been busy. It's been busy. I've been a busy month because I've been had to make all this stuff. So I got bins and coolers full of chocolate treats and hot cocoa bombs and jelly nougat candy, all kinds of stuff. So the only problem now is that we've had a record flooding, and thank goodness the rain stopped. So, because it was getting to the point where it was going to be just, I mean, they had shut roads down, landslides. It was bad in Washington. I'm sure you guys heard about it. It made national news. But all right, guys, have a good one, and I will talk to you all soon.